because he wasn't able to come last week, to have a second go of him last week. And we're really looking forward to him. He's an Imam from Wolverhampton, and despite the fact I'd been 30 years involved with Interfaith, I'd never heard of him. So he was a real treasure to find, and he's also a psychiatrist. And last week, if you remember, he was unable to come because of his mother. So we hope we'll hear how she is now. And we're very welcome, Asim. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and to Eric, thank you very much, and for your thoughts and prayers as well. Yes, my mother's feeling a lot better, so thank you very much for that. That's the first thing. And it's lovely to be invited back again to speak to you. I gather you watched highlights reel last week, so I hope I can bring something slightly new this time. I have to admit that the topic this time really did give me some pause. The idea of a rule of life, because not because of their absence, but perhaps because of their profusion in our religion. And it also got me thinking about the fact that sometimes I think that there is a danger in my religion, the religion of Islam, of sacrificing depth for breadth, because there are lots of rules of life actually in our faith tradition. There are recommendations and guidance governing virtually every aspect of our lives, each one of which has, if one reflects and contemplates on it, a very deep significance. The problem is, I suppose, that because there are so many of them, there is a danger of skipping past some of those pieces of guidance or sets of guidance because the next one's coming so quickly. What we've often found in the religion is it is those who reflect deeply, who really start to understand the profundity of some of those rules and guidances for life. So I will keep using the word rule, but I do like this idea of a rule of life. So I have reflected on what to talk about. Some of them, to give you an example, I was talking to my group last Sunday about the clipping of the fingernails, literally trimming one's fingernails. And believe it or not, and they couldn't quite believe it, there is a recommended order in which to clip your fingernails, which is that you start with this finger and then you go like this. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 1, 2. Start again. Gosh, it's early in the morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, and so I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we were reflecting on the reason for this rather strange order, and actually got to the concept of sacrificing for others, even at the point of one's own death, generosity of spirit, even at the point of one's own death. And I told them at the end, I kind of reflected and I said, I'm sure you don't imagine, you never imagined that when we started talking about clipping fingernails, we would end up talking about the awareness of God's presence in your life, even at the most dire moment possible. But that is where you get to from reflecting on clipping one's fingernails. I won't go into the details of it now, but that's a one idea about this. And I thought about, if there is one rule of life in the Islamic religion, it is be like. It's actually a song that I wrote, which I won't sing for you now because I definitely don't have a singing voice at 6:45 in the morning. which is be like Al-Habib, be like the beloved, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, which is taking the idea of WWJD, what would Jesus do, and really expanding on it to the nth degree. But that would take too long to explain. So what I have instead decided to do is be boring and talk about this rule of life, which is the statement, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim means I proceed, I go forth in the way of God, the all benevolent, the all merciful, which is something that we as Muslims are supposed to preface every single action every single action of import with. It is a formula that commences each chapter of the Quran. So we recite, there are 114 chapters of the Quran, some of which are very long, some of which are very short. Every single one of them begins with this formula. And a Muslim is supposed to begin our actions with this formula. The particular guidance is kullu amrin dhi balin la yabda'u bi bismillahir rahmanir rahim fahuwa aqta', which means every important matter that does not commence with the phrase Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, or does not commence in the name of God, the all compassionate, the all merciful, will be devoid of blessing. Now, reflecting on this, what do we find? The first is, what is a matter of importance? Well, given that every single breath that you take is a transaction with the divine, is an encounter with the divine, then every single thing that you do is something that is a matter of the deepest importance. I was saying to somebody once, you often, some people, the question that I've actually never been asked because I'm a psychiatrist, but the question, the famous question that people are supposed to ask doctors is, Doc, how long have I got? What's my life expectancy? And the answer, of course, is that everybody's life expectancy is 2 minutes. We all have 2 minutes to live. It is the next breath you take that resets the clock. So every single breath is a gift from God. And one of the principles that I could have spoken about but didn't is what in Persian is titled Hosh Dardam, which means mind your breath, breathe consciously, breathe in your need for God, and breathe out your thankfulness to God. So that's another one, but I won't talk about that one either. So what is a matter of importance? If you reflect and you understand, then everything is a matter of importance. Everything that you do is a matter of importance because you do it with God. The second is the formula itself, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. What does this entail? So I'll start at the end and work backwards. So it means B is with Ism, the name Allah. Bi Ismi Allah, Bismillah. Ar-Rahman means the all benevolent, and Ar-Rahim means the all compassionate. Rahman and Rahim are both names of God that are derivatives of the word Rahmah. Funnily enough, I was at an event yesterday, and afterwards somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, I wanted to. I've been asked to ask you about the idea of love in medicine." I said, "Oh, okay." And from the Islamic tradition, they were talking about Alistair Campbell. He'd written a work apparently on love in medicine, and I wanted to explain this from an Islamic perspective. So they started using certain Arabic words, hub, which means love. And I said, "Well, you've got the wrong word." She said, "Oh, what do you mean?" And I said, "The word for love isn't hub, it's rahmah." She said, "Oh, I thought rahmah meant mercy." I said, "Rahmah is always translated as mercy, and that's our fault. We make a mistake. Rahmah means womb, a womb-like feeling. The word rahmah in Arabic is the womb. So I said that the rahmah is to have the feeling that a mother has towards the child in her womb. That's the meaning of rahmah. And if you don't think that that's first and foremost, before compassion and mercy and so forth, it is love, then you really need to think that again. And so if you start talking about rahmah and in how rahmah applies in the practice of medicine, now you're getting somewhere. But rahmah, this idea of a selfless love for everything and everyone, is an oceanic concept in the religion of Islam. The idea of love for everything and everyone, to either be like the mother with her baby, or to be like in relation to creation, or to be like the baby in relation to the mother in terms of one's relationship with God. You are either the mother or you are the baby. And that feeling of rahmah it pervades everything. But it is also the name of God. These not one but two names of God, which are derived from this concept. And again, I can talk about the idea of rahmah, and I have done. We had a 12-night program recently, in which the only topic was rahmah. For 12 nights, we had different speakers come to talk about this concept from different perspectives. So these two names of God, we recite at virtually everything that matters to us. We are reminded that God is Rahman and Rahim, and the garbage truck is going past, so don't mind the sound. So we are reminded of this at every single moment, that we engage with this. They are also, however, the two words of God that commence the litany of the 99 names of God. So in the Islamic tradition, God has 99 names that are noted. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, Al-Qudus, Al-Salam, Al-Mu'min, Al-Muhaymin, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir, and so forth. So it goes. And those 99 names encompass virtually every circumstance and situation that you can encounter in your life. You are always, therefore, interacting or experiencing one of the 99 names of God. To give you an example, you are experiencing God at the birth of a child. He is Al-Muhyi, the one who brings life. And you are experiencing God at the moment of your death, because he is also Al-Mumit. He is the one who brings death. You are experiencing God in your moments of success and victory, because he is Ar-Rafi', the one who raises up. And you are experiencing God in your moments of defeat and reversal, because he is Al-Khafid, the one who lowers down. And if every experience is an encounter with God in one or other of his names, then every experience, no matter how nice it feels or how difficult it feels, is nonetheless an encounter with God and made beautiful through that experience. And that's another thing that I could talk about for a very long time, but we only have a short amount of time here. That's how the formula ends. Bi ismi Allah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the all benevolent, the all compassionate, ... is how you're meant to read it. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in ... i.e. Malik al-Qudus, Salam al-Mu'min, and so on and so forth. But I want to focus right now, the last thing I'll say to you guys, on the very first letter. And that letter is the Ba. Bi ism Allah. I proceed. Bi, the name of God. What is the meaning of the Ba? There's a beautiful tradition in our religion that all of the Quran is encapsulated in the first chapter, the short chapter, the Fatiha. All of the Fatiha is encapsulated in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and all of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is encapsulated in the Ba. In the Ba. So the Ba, the Bi, the very, very first letter, encapsulates everything in the Quran, in the Holy Scripture. How? The Ba has a number of meanings, of which 3 apply here. One is accompanied by. The second is elevated through. And the third is to be to be dependent upon. To be dependent upon. So I begin needing or dependent on the name of God. I begin accompanied by the name of God. I begin elevated through the name of God. Now, there are three types of actions that the human can perform. Every human action is a moral act, and there are three types. The first is a type that distances you from God, a sin, in other words. The second is a type that draws you near to God, a virtue or a good deed. And the third is the type that draws you neither near nor takes you further away. These are the three moral actions. A positive, because it draws you near to God; a negative, takes you further away from God; or a neutral, keeps you in the same place. What color cloak I decided to wear today, for example, is a neutral action. Now, if everything that you do is accompanied by the name of God, and everything you do is encompassed by what is one of three actions, and there are three meanings of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, what does this mean? It means the following. If I do a morally neutral act, but I do so elevated by the name of God, I recite that basmala, what it does is it elevates that completely trivial neutral action to an act of worship. It raises it up because it is accompanied by the remembrance of God, by the knowledge of the presence of God. Even that action is raised up to an act of worship. In other words, I begin accompanied by the name of God. I go with God. If the action that I'm about to perform is a sinful action, an action that will take me far away from God, so that is the elevation, I should say. That is the being elevated, the human action that is elevated. The second, if I'm about to commit something that is displeasing to God, and if I remember that I am doing this whilst being accompanied by God, I do this in the presence of God, this is something that will prevent me from doing it, because I would not want to desecrate the name of God by bringing it into a morally evil or a morally problematic action. And so it prevents me from doing it. And the third, which is that I'm about to commence something that is an act of worship, if I do so with the knowledge that I am only able to do this through God's power, it prevents the great problem that we have as people who are religious, which is pride. Look at me, look at what I've done. And the thing that prevents me from that, again, is the knowledge that this time I am not being elevated by the name of God. I'm not being accompanied by the name of God, but I can only do this through the name of God. It is by God's strength and grace and power that I am able to do this. It's not something that I can take credit for. As such, if everything that you do is a matter of importance, and everything that you do is done with the name of God, it is the name of God that elevates it to and elevates the ordinary to something extraordinary. The name of God that restrains you from doing something that is damaging and harmful to yourself, and the name of God that ensures that you have the necessary humility to recognize that you are acting through God's power and by His grace. So, if there is a rule of life, I would suggest to you that perhaps is the one that I would commend to all of us here. Thank you.
Thank you, Asim, very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Asim.
That was fabulous. Thank you.
Absolutely marvelous. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Asim.
so much.
Yeah.